I'm moving soon, so I want to get my fabric organized before everything gets too chaotic. I have fabric stashed in several places around my house, so first things first, I've got to get it all gathered up into one spot. I'm surprised. I thought I had a lot more fabric than this. This seems so much more manageable when it's all, you know, collected together. I've got minky and novelty fleecy fabric here. I have yardage here, fat quarters here, and over here are like some weird cuts that sort of defy organization. So I think I might have to cut them down into more manageable pieces or put some in my scrap bin. Now that I have it all gathered together, I need to do a little bit of research because organization does not come naturally to me. I'll see you in a little bit. It's clear to me now that people love using comic book board to make these mini bolts to organize their stashes, but that's not something I'm interested in. For one, I don't want to have to go and buy a bunch of cardboard, and for the other, I don't really display my stash. I'm paranoid about my fabric fading before I get a chance to use it, and I just don't have the space to display it. So luckily, I think I found a couple gems buried underneath all that comic book board. There are actually a couple different techniques that I want to use, and I'll include the links to the original videos in the description below. They include more detailed explanations and some handy tips, so I definitely recommend you check them out. What I really want is a stash that is neat, organized, and compact, and I definitely want to be able to tell how much fabric there is at a glance. For example, these are all fat quarters here, but they vary widely in size, and some of them have their raw edges showing, some of them are tucked neatly. But there is an imposter here. One of these pieces is not actually a fat quarter. Can you tell at a glance which one it is? Because I can't. This is the imposter, by the way. It's actually a whole half yard of fabric. But it looks just like this fat quarter here. For my fat quarters, I'm going to be using the tidy tuck method described in Suzy Sew's Ultimate Guide to Fabric Folding. Okay, you're going to want to start with your selvage edge close to you and the right side of your fabric facing down. Then you're going to fold it in half down to your selvage edge, and then you're going to want to visualize the halfway mark. And I can see it because there's a fold mark just perfectly there. So I'm going to fold the two sides in towards the center, and then I fold it in half again. Pretty neat. All your raw edges are hidden inside. So you're going to flip it so that your selvage is up here, and then I'm going to line up the bottom right along here. And then I'm going to use my 4-inch mark on my mat, and that's exactly where I'm going to fold. Then, if you look at it this way, you've got a little pocket right here that you can fold this last flap up into. Oh, let me try again. So there is going to be a little bit of a learning curve here, I think. But then when you're done, you've got this nice, neat little packet. And that's not going to come unfolded. And all of your raw edges are all tucked away, hidden and protected. One down. So many more to go. Okay, 5 down. They're getting easier with each one. Okay, gotta keep up my momentum. I've made things easier for myself by marking my center line right here, because not all of the fat quarters have a natural fold that I can follow. I found that I'm getting the neatest result if I make this fold here and then lift up the pocket. Okay, I've got about 20 fat quarters done, and I'm going to finish up the rest of the fat quarters over the course of this evening, and then I'll start folding my yardage tomorrow. Okay, I finished the fat quarters, and this was such a satisfying process. I'd say it took about an hour and a half, but the time flew by. I've been listening to the audiobook Grit by Angela Duckworth. I like to keep my mind busy while I keep my hands busy. I'll link it in the description below. Anyway, now it's time to get started on my yardage. I almost forgot to mention these. These are not quite fat quarters, but I didn't want to put them in my scrap bin, so I folded them up in a similar way to my fat quarters, and I think they turned out pretty well, although they were a little harder to fold because they're so much narrower, but it worked out in the end. They turned out sort of cute. The technique I'm going to use to fold my yardage is by Pink Pony Design, and I'm going to be using a quilting ruler to get exact measurement so everything lines up perfectly. It's easier than it sounds, trust me. Although with my current filming setup, it might be sort of hard to show it, so let's try it once and see how I do. Okay, I've got my selvage over here and my fold over here, and I'm going to have my ruler go across it lengthwise like this. Then I fold up onto the ruler, trying to keep things as straight as possible, and then while holding that piece, I'm going to pull. Oh. Okay. And then I'm going to do it again. And then I can pull it like this to get the edge that way, or more towards the center. And then I simply pull the ruler out of this bundle. And then I'm going to do it again in the other direction. So this is my fold. And I'm going to wrap it around the ruler. A little messy. Let me try that again. Okay, that's a little better. So there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. Second attempt. Technically my third attempt. Okay, that was a little easier. Although I think next time I'm going to make the selvage go to the inside. But it looks good, I think. Okay, this piece is a yard, and I'm going to start folding the same way as the other pieces, but I'm going to finish them a little differently. So after I pull out my ruler, instead of rolling it again, I'm just going to fold it in half once. So my yard or more pieces are gonna look like this, and my less than a yard pieces are gonna look like this. So I can tell at a glance. That's all I really want. I just want to know at a glance. I don't want to have to unfold anything. I think my ruler's non-slip grip is sort of slowing me down. So I went and I got my old slippery ruler, and I'm gonna try this out. The problem is, this old ruler is ½ an inch narrower than the one I've been using, which means that every piece of fabric I've folded so far will be 1.5 inches too large on both sides. I haven't folded very many pieces yet, so I could still reasonably refold those. So let's see how it works first, and then I'll make plans after that. Okay, moment of truth. Does it slide out? Okay, that was really easy. That was pretty good compared to what the other one has been doing. Okay, that slides pretty good. I think I'm going to switch over and refold those other pieces. Just for comparison, this is one I've already done compared to the one I just did. So I'm going to refold those. Okay, I'm back on track. It really didn't take me very long at all either, because I just gotten started. But I did decide that for my 1/4 yard cuts, I'm going to fold them in half and then roll them up like the regular ones. So they'll be just a little bit different, so I can tell my quarter yard cuts at a glance too. I think I'm about halfway done, maybe a little more than halfway done. I've got my yard cuts here, my less than a yard cuts here, and these are my 1/4 yard cuts, and they came out a little messier than I was hoping for, so I might have to rethink that. But all in all, this process is so easy, it's really fast, and I really recommend it. But I switched from folding on my cutting mat on this slick surface to my ironing board, and it actually is making a big difference. So if you try this method, I would definitely recommend use your ironing board. The fabric on the ironing board gives you a little more grip, and you get a tighter fold. Are you ready for the big reveal? First, let's take a look at where I started. It was a mess. I could hardly tell what I had to work with. And now, so much better. Oh my gosh, this was a really satisfying process. I definitely recommend this. And it's really great to see what I have, because I had no idea that I had so much blue. And all my fat quarters fit comfortably in this box. All I have to do is sort through these weird pieces of fabric. They're awkwardly cut and they don't really fit into like a single size. Like this, for instance, I guess I was going to make an apron, because this is perfectly cut out to be an apron. I've got a little pocket, but I don't remember doing this at all. So I'm going to cut it up into maybe a fat quarter if I can manage it. And some of them just need to be trimmed and added to my scrap bin. This was actually a lot of fun. I'm shocked, but I had a great time. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.